Hey there, Ddraig back with another video. I'm returning to the old versus new Yost Factions mod by Shaky Withers, Eon and Show Muscle. Previously, I've looked at the main part of the mod, and here's a link in the top right hand corner. But now the team are getting through the different factions and making them fully playable, or as they put it, in the notes, 5 skull rating. I plan to do a video on each of these as they become to the standard that they would like. Today, however, we shall look at the High Elves campaign, Citdal of Dusk, starting in southern Austria on the coast. Usually, I will split the videos up, one for units and one for the campaign, like I've done in many of my videos, but as there's only a few units to talk about, I shall combine the videos into one. You will need OVN Yost Factions Part 1 and 2, as well as a Mixu Unlocker to play this campaign. So let us get to the coast of Austria and meet Arafran Stormrider and the Citdal of Dusk campaign. All the following stats are based on vanilla settings and ultra size. Prince Arafran comes from a proud and noble family, dating back to the High Elf Phoenix Kings thousands of years ago. His ancestors were known for leading High Elf campaigns around the Warhammer world, getting glory and renown. Arafran is determined to keep this tradition alive, so you start off in the corner of the map in Austria. An interesting starting location, as holding this area is part of the campaign mechanic. The eastern shores of Austria and Etienne are key to your faction, gaining bonuses if you have taken over those particular provinces on the coast and at home. Also, for your effects, you can recruit nobles straight away, a viable ability as nobles are powerful heroes. And the Lightning Strike mechanic is available at default when you have a couple of armies around you, meaning you know how to focus on that when deciding how to develop Arafran's skill tree. Being a high elf, naturally he is brilliant in combat, with very high melee attack and defense, and can pack a hit on the charge with quite good weapon strength and some serious AP at 310. He acts in hit points, as many high elves are, but having great armour, he is a formidable duelist. He can look after himself in most cases. Eventually, you can mount him on a griffin, sharp core, to make a formidable duel. First up of the new units are the Bright Falcon Company and the Sapphire Company. Both are superior spearmen units. They are both 250 points, more than your standard spearmen at 750. So what do you get for this extra investment? Will provide much better melee attack over your base level at +7 and +4 to melee defense. They also provide superior armour and leadership. But the main thing they bring, in my humble opinion, is expert charge defense, a viable ability in any front line and worth that extra cost. Next we have variations on the archers, with fire, sea and wind companies. These units are 100 points more expensive than 625 of the light armour archers. Stats wise they are much better in melee combat if need arises, with 10 more melee attack and 5 more melee defense. Not that they should ever be in melee however. Also better leadership as well. So let's talk about each company briefly. The Fire Company, not surprisingly, has fire arrows, but a cost of range at only 160 compared to normal archers at 180. They also adding 4 damage to their missiles, are useful units when dealing with Vampire Coast, which you shall do earlier on. Sea Company share the 160 range, but do have the highly useful poison damage, but weaker arrows as these units only have 19. In archery, the Wind Company have that 880 range and decent damage at 22, and have 1 more damage in the AP stat compared to the others. So each company has nice specific uses on the battlefield. One more unit to look at, the Shore Riders, which are much better missile cavalry than your standard Illyrian Reaver Archers. With improved combat stats, making more effective in combat with better missile damage as well. They are also a bit more capable of running down archers if they need to, but this should be only done in desperate times. They also have the Strider ability, negating the terrain penalties. A good unit costs 165 points more than your standard Illyrian Reavers at 925, which is nearly the cost of the Regiment Renown version, the Heralds of the Wind. So that is the new units. Let us go to the campaign and talk about that. So here we are on the campaign map, and as you can see, and mentioned previously, we're right at the bottom of the map. Just quickly zoom out. Bottom centre, just below Orphan. So, what are the main features of this campaign? First, and I think this is probably the most important part, is this, the naval supply line. I'll leave that on the screen so you can have a look at it while I'm talking about it. So this is pertaining to what land you own around the Citdal of Dusk. Now, to get these bonuses, you need to own the eastern coast of Austria, which is pretty much all the way down here. I think it goes up to here, but as a personal note, well, a general note really, I haven't played much of this campaign yet because I haven't had much time, but I thought I'd bring it to you and find out. I've played a few turns, probably about turn 20-ish, just to get a feel for the campaign. It is quite tough, I will say. Maybe because the location, you're surrounded by Dark Elves, you're surrounded by Skaven. You have got Tequis here, which is a bonus, so you can get a trade deal quite early on with him. But other than that, it is quite a steep learning curve. Mainly because of this. As you can see, currently, public order -3, diplomacy relations with -5, so we're dropping with the high elves. Upkeep +16%, income of trade -55%, so that's a big reduction, and recruitment costs +16, so it's quite expensive at the start. But it's just a tough starting place really, I found. Trying to get all of this is not easy, because you got the vampire faction right at the top here, and that's a tough fight, because by then they're quite powerful by the time you get up here. Also, just to add to the fun, you get sort of campaign effects happening. So these are just random events, and they'll spawn armies against you. Now, I've done one brief playthrough, so I immediately built a bit of an army here. I'll go through that army in a minute, and took over here, built a gold mine, get a bit of cash, destroyed these. I was happy, and this random event happened, and I'm not sure if it's random or maybe it's just every 5 or 6 turns. I'm not exactly sure, but whatever it is, it happened, and it spawned an army right here. The Vampire Coast army, just a rogue army, and it was pretty much a full stack. I wasn't ready for a full stack. Didn't go well, and that was the end of that campaign. So what I would suggest is to get this as big as possible with lots of cheap units, just to film out, and then get some cash quite early on. If you can take here, good start. If you can take here as well quickly, possibly a good move. Anyway, let's go to the actual campaign itself, the army itself. So here's our Alpha Storm Rider. I'll go through the skill tree in a bit. So the initial start army is reasonable, a bit small but reasonable. You got a Regiment of Renown unit, Storm Riders, which is very nice. You also get Swordsmaster of Horif, the elite unit, very powerful. Do you have the Swordsmaster of Horif? And you got Spearmen, already mentioned, Zoffred Sea Guards, some really Reaver Archers, Great Eagle, and a Bolt Thrower. So it's not a bad starting army. It's got some good high elite units. So using any of these, the high elite units, would be quite detrimental to your campaign. So if I move on, so you start off with Citdal of Dusk, unsurprisingly, but it is 3 tier, and you can just repair that to get some cash, and then you got 2 building places, which I recommend building military camp and Grazy Meadows from the start, just to get a bit of a recruitment drive going on, while I try to capture more provinces. One more thing to mention, if I click on old Arafon here, and go to the regiment recruit Regiments of Renown, here is the where you get your fire companies and all the companies which I've just been through. So these appear every now and again. There'll be a message saying some high elves have arrived and given this company available to you. You just recruit it as normal. So if I click on them, quick recruit, done. They're not the cheapest thing in the world. 168 compared to 145. They're not ridiculously expensive, but not the cheapest. These are good archers though, very good archers. And then that happens every now and again, and you can recruit them. It's a big help, And I'm presuming, like I said, I didn't get that far, the more you own, the better those units will be. And possibly the more of them you get. So, better you are, more units you get. What more to say? So, I think that's covered everything. There's various quite unique campaign elements to it. Like I said, I haven't played much for campaign, but it is quite interesting to see it build up. And it's a very hard High Elves campaign. Probably harder than Texas's campaign for High Elves. Because on the whole, the High Elves haven't got tough campaigns. Like apart from these two, the main ones appear in Orthran, and they are tough. Sorry, they're pretty easy. I've played through those campaigns a couple of times now, and they're pretty easy. From a start point anyway. Endgame gets more interesting. So here we are with Alpha and Stormrider's character screen. We've got some interesting things to talk about here. So, basic ones at the bottom, or the usual ones. Nothing massively important. And as I mentioned, you won't find the lightning strike thing here, because part of the factions thing is that if you have multiple armies next to each other, you get the lightning strike. So that's a big bonus. That is really handy. So, bottom things usual. I'd say the middle thing, I haven't looked massively to the middle one yet, but I don't think, yeah, so good. All the usual stuff. And yep, all the usual bonuses to various units you're familiar with. Now, all our front has some actual magical abilities, which is really handy. So he's got a few of the various nets. I do have a net. Thunderbolt, Curse of the Manite, Wind, and Tempest. Hasn't got the arcane conduits and things like that, which is interesting. Bit annoying, but no, he's got his magical abilities. Then he's got his old melee attack, so all the usual things there. Let's quickly skip on, and yep, all the usual ones, all the usual attacks. Now we got some interesting, unique armor. 14, 10%, 10%, and minus 10%. Really nice bit of armor that. And at rank 8, pretty powerful. And you got Starblade at rank 10. Armor piercing damage plus 40. Very nice. And plus 10 for weapon strength and enables magic attacks. Making him a seriously good combat lord. And he's already very, very good as it is. And we've got the mount, Sharp Core. It's personal griffin. Which, as you can see, boosts his stats considerably. And makes him a real force on the battlefield. And then we got some more. One's got Worldfarer, weapon strength plus 15% when fighting Skaven, and campaign movement range. What's the next level? Level 2 is exactly the same, with more campaign movement and a bit more damage. Defender of Orthran, income from trade and weapon strength versus Warriors of Chaos and Norska. And a bit of against Dark Elves, even better. Ward of Yorick and Ward of Horeth, does magical and missile resistance. So there you go. That is my first video on any particular faction for the OS factions. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video.